How's it going, guys? Dustin at Daily Grind Fantasy, and in today's video, we're going to be building out a PrizePicks 5-flex slip using some of the top plays for the MLB today, which is Wednesday, October 4th, and then Thursday Night Football as well. It's going to be a combo slip between MLB and NFL over the next 2 days. If you guys are not subscribed to the channel already, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button while you're at it, because it really does help us out. We would appreciate it. Now, we're going to hop over to the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, and if you guys have never seen this tool before, get used to it. It is amazing. It gives you all the best plus EV plays across PrizePicks, Underdog, ParlayPlay, all of your favorite DFS apps. So I highly suggest checking it out. You can actually try it for 7 days free, linked in the description of this video. Not only do we have optimizers where we compare these DFS apps directly back to sportsbooks, but we also have our DFS middling tool where we compare DFS app to DFS app, finding where you can get the best line across these DFS apps, where certain apps are off in comparison to the rest of the market. And of course, that's what we do via the optimizer just with sportsbooks, right? So we can see that anything that's very heavily juiced on the sportsbooks, right? That's something you're going to want to play on an app like PrizePicks or Underdog, where you're getting a better bang for your buck, right? We don't have any currently up here on the optimizer as far as individual heavily juiced props. Like, let's say Derrick Henry to go over 65 rush yards, right? That could be minus 190 on the sports books, right? But if you played it at minus 190 on the sports books instead of at minus 119 in a PrizePicks 5-flex, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're getting a better bang for your buck playing it here on PrizePicks, where they're not dinging you for taking that same exact prop, right? You're getting it at this set minus 119 in a 5-flex at all times. So that's basically what we're trying to do here. We're trying to find favorable outcomes that are given by sports books, heavily juiced props, discrepancies in comparison to the sports books line and the PrizePicks line. Like, for instance, let me see if we have this one still up here. No, but just a moment ago, I was able to go ahead and get Bryce Young at 203 yards on ParlayPlay, but he's set to 225 yards on FanDuel, right? So let me see, Young. All right, Bryce Young's not popping up on ParlayPlay. I think they probably removed him in order to go ahead and readjust this line. However, it was at 225.5 for the even line on ParlayPlay. So you got a 22-yard difference, right? Looks like ParlayPlay was way too low in comparison to the sportsbooks. It's not often that we see sportsbooks 22 yards off of each other coming in when they're first setting their lines, right? But it is pretty often when these DFS apps are trying to get their lines they set individually out there for you to be able to get action on, right? They're off often in comparison to the sports books. But like DraftKings, when they come and set their even line, they're probably going to be right there around that 225.5, right? So we want to take advantage of these DFS apps in as many ways as possible, with correlation as well, which, speaking of that, we have our DFS correlation tool that's absolutely been crushing, up 250 units in the last month and a half. We actually gave out a correlated slip. This does not have a free trial, by the way. Our fantasy bundle with the middling tool and optimizer does. We don't give a free trial for this because it's all publicly tracked right here for you guys to see. This thing works. We give you the most highly correlated slips with best profit margins across all of these DFS apps. So make sure you guys are checking that out. Go check my most recent video on this channel. I gave out a correlated slip for the Thursday Night Football game. So yeah, make sure you guys are liking these videos too whenever you see them. But let's go ahead and start building out this PrizePicks slip. Sorry to ramble on. This stuff just excites me, and I want people to really see and learn how to become profitable sports bettors. And by educating, kind of how I just did, hopefully I'm helping some of you guys out. I know some of you guys already know all this stuff, and you just want the picks. We're going to get to it right now. So we are going to be able to little bit of positive correlation here in NFL, along with these MLB picks. We're going to start off with MLB. We're going to start off with Marcus Semien and Randy Arozarena under 3.5 hits, runs, RBIs combo. So we'll go to MLB, Randy Rosarina and Marcus Semien under 3.5 hits, runs, RBIs combo. 55.81% odds to hit on this, or fair odds percentage, right? What we're looking for in a PrizePicks 5 flex is anything above 54.34%. But if we have these higher props, we are able to stoop down below that, because remember, it's the average fair odds percentage on each individual leg above 54.34% in order for it to be a plus EV slip for a 5-pick flex. So we got that. We got George Soler and Trey Turner under 3.5. Under 3.5 hits, runs, RBIs. So boom, no correlation there in the MLB. Even if we add in Zach Gallen under 27.5 pitcher fantasy score, and if we look into this a little bit more for Zach Gallen, he's set to 27.5 on PrizePicks, but average sportsbooks odds, or sorry, not sportsbook odds. If they were to have the fantasy score market, their average would be about 24.8 between DraftKings and Caesars. So that's by taking the even lines across these sportsbooks for the statistics that make up pitcher fantasy score here on PrizePicks. So it looks like PrizePicks is a little bit too aggressive by about 2.7 fantasy score in comparison to the sportsbook market if they were to have fantasy scores. So we'll take the under on Zach Gallen. And we don't have any hitters going up against Zach Gallen. So there is no positive or negative correlation there. So it's just kind of a one-off. But now, we're actually, you know what? We're going to make this a 6 flex. We're going to make this a 6 flex. All right, so even better. We're going to make this a 6 flex. We have 3 plays we can kind of correlate here. Sorry, no. Let's go ahead and just make it a 5 flex. We're going to correlate Sam Howell over 16 fantasy score. Oops, we got to go to NFL. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place, but yeah, we're gonna stick to the 5 flex and really correlate this play here. So we're gonna go ahead and take Sam Howell over 16 fantasy score. Now, if you guys have noticed, I'm not looking at any of the last 5 game logs or matchups or anything like that. That's because I don't need to. When we're comparing to sportsbooks, you don't need to do that, because these sportsbooks set these lines with all of that in mind, or all of that across their $1 million models and such. They know who's pitching. They know who've hit in the last 10 and the last 25 games, that they're 18 of the last 25 games they've gone over, or whatever it might be, right? We don't even need to look into that, because that's baked into the odds and the lines that are set here on the sports books. We are just using these reference points across these sports books to be able to go ahead and make these picks, right? And you feel good because these $1 million models and these sports books that you're basically tailing after, right? So we have Sam Howell over 16 fantasy score. So it looks like off by about 1.5-ish, maybe like 1.7 fantasy score here, comparing to multiple other sports books, taking into consideration his even lines across those statistics that make up fantasy score for the quarterback position. But we're going to be taking Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin over 0.5 receiving touchdowns, right? Why is this correlated? This is correlated because if Sam Howell is going to go over fantasy score, it's likely that one of his receivers are probably going to catch a touchdown pass. You got Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin as 2 of his receivers. So some positive correlation, taking Sam Howell over fantasy score. And if he throws a touchdown to one of those players, not only do we cash that the touchdown prop for one of them scoring a touchdown, but you also get extra fantasy score for a touchdown for Sam Howell, right? So yeah, so there's the slip. One more time, we built that out, went ahead and made sure that there was no change in correlation of what you could get. But it's going to be Marcus Semien, Randy Rosarina under 3.5 hits, runs, RBIs. George Soler, Trey Turner under 3.5 hits, runs, RBIs. Zach Gallen under 27.5 pitcher fantasy score. And then we correlated Sam Howell over 16 fantasy score with Curtis Samuel and Terry McLaurin to score a touchdown, right? Sam Howell throws a touchdown, boom, fantasy score, and we cash the touchdown prop. That's going to be it for today's video. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. If you learned something, drop a like. Even if you didn't and you're tailing, drop a like as well. We're giving out a bunch of free content here on the YouTube channel and on Twitter. My Twitter's at sportsbydustin if you want to follow me. Follow at DG Fantasy on Twitter as well. And don't forget, links in the description if you guys want to try out a 7-day free trial for the fantasy bundle or the correlation tool. Let's cash.